Hello Animorphs fans and welcome back to the Animorphs Reviews YouTube channel. I'm here to shill another one of my fan fictions. This one has just been re-uploaded, re-edited, proofread. It is book 57, The Abduction. You can see the artwork here, artwork by Char Reed, and the brand spanking new logo for Animorphs New War, which is my series. So this one takes place obviously after the events of book 56, so there are going to be spoilers in this video for books 55 and 56 and possibly the rest of the series, but I'm assuming you've all read that by now, okay? So, where we are now is that the Animorphs are looking for the Kelbrids, their planet specifically Kyritlyp, and in book 56 they got a vessel from the Andalites, a Mac vessel, so a rusty old box thing, so that they could venture into Kelbrid space for the second time, crossing the Grat border, in search of the Kelbrids. So that's essentially where we left off, but we did take our first steps onto the planet Makroovi, the homeworld of the Mac, a race that has been pretty obscure in the history of the Animorphs, and that's partly because that race is on the Kelbrid side of the Grat border. So when the Yeerks infested the Mac, they would occasionally come into Andalite space. That's how the Andalites acquired the Mac vessel that the Animorphs now pilot. And they're just these squat little things. They're not that threatening, really. But the Animorphs still have to be on guard because the Mac were, and possibly are, still under Yeerk control. And that's the major problem they've got going into this mission. And what they're trying to do on Makroovi is find information on the Kelbrids' whereabouts, because obviously the Mac are pretty widespread throughout the Kelbrid side of the Grat border, and they might have information on where the Kelbrids are hanging out, or any other information that might be useful. Also information on potential Yeerk involvement. As for Tobias, he's still... Well, let's face it, at the end of the Animorphs series, he went off a bit. He was sort of finding his place in the world, but then Rachel died and he basically vanished. And what we're looking at now with Tobias is somebody who feels his last ties to humanity have been torn apart, and he doesn't know what he is really or what he wants to be in the future. He knows that he's not going to last much longer as a hawk, and he knows that the very reason he went on this mission was because there was still something sort of sentient about him, something caring about him. So he wants to know who he is, what he wants to be, considering he's got Andalite ancestry, he's obviously part human. So we explore that a bit more with Tobias' psyche, see him interact with the other characters in this regard, and get up to some acquiring shenanigans. So that's the context for book 57. We do eventually find Kelbrids, or a Kelbrid, and that's what the Kelbrid looks like from Char Reed's design. I'm quite happy with how I've done the Kelbrids, an interesting race, and if you want to find out more about them, you'll learn a bit more about them in this book, book 57, The Abduction. And of course, why is it called The Abduction? Well, as we learnt in book 56, the reason the Animorphs are going to this place is because they want to kidnap a high-ranking Kelbrid official, much like in English past, where, for example, you had prisoner swaps, King Stephen and George of Loughborough, I think, George of something, during the First English Civil War. You have prisoner swaps, so the Kelbrids have got Axe, we assume, because that's basically what Visser 3 told them, or Esplin. And so the Andalites think, right, we'll nick one of their people and we'll trade. So because the Andalites can't go into Kelbrid space at the risk of starting a war, they send the Animorphs. So that's why all this has been set into play. So that's your context. Please go and read this. The links will be in the description down below. Yeah, I hope you enjoy reading, and I'll keep you up to date with when the next one comes out. I've just finished the second Animorphs UK book, so those are 1 and 2 are going to go through proofreading and they'll get uploaded also. I've also got some artwork coming in for that. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you read along, and I shall see you next time. Ta-ra.